Hey everybody, Barry at CTech-review. We have an interesting one for you hurricane owners today. I got the opportunity to take advantage of a high mileage, I'm gonna call it high mileage, okay, hear me out, Jeep Grand Wagoneer. This has the high output hurricane engine. Purpose of this video today is to show you how's a hurricane engine and a Jeep Grand Wagoneer holding up with over 40,000 miles of rental car abuse. I rent a lot of cars. I'm on the road a lot, traveling a lot, and these cars see a very, very hard life. And this vehicle is no different. Stay to the end because I think you'll be happy to see what my conclusions were on this Jeep Grand Wagoneer with the high output Hurricane. Let's do this. Okay, here we go. This is a 2024 Jeep Grand Wagoneer Series 2, and this is the longer version. So this would be like your Escalade ESV or your Navigator L. One of the things Jeep did on the Grand Wagoneer with their electric power steps that I think is kind of cool. Number one, they come down really far and they're very fast. This is something I notice sometimes on the electronic steps I'm not a big fan of, but these ones worked really good. The other thing was it almost acts or looks like part of the rocker panel. It's almost part of the aesthetic package on the side, and that's a unique approach, and I kind of think it looks pretty neat. Instead of just a step that folds up, it's actually part of the looks underneath. So that's pretty neat. Just the inside of this thing is so premium. Okay, so obviously you got your premium door controls over here and you got your massaging seats, but you can also, you got a screen down here, you can change your seating. Plus, how does this work? Comfort. You can also do it up here. So you have 3 different ways to adjust front row seating, massaging, everything. Plus, here's another thing I like that you can't get on an Escalade. And you can actually turn it on and off. So you can push it right here, or you can put it on. You don't want the lower on. You just want upper, or you want upper and lower. I think that's really cool. Plus, watch this little button. Press that. You got a nice little hidden compartment here with, I believe, yep, it is wireless charging. So I'll tell you some things I really like about what Jeep does great. Their ergonomics and all their buttons. This is a high-tech interior, but the buttons make sense. When I get into a new Navigator, Expedition, or even an Escalade, it's high-tech, but the buttons are over the top difficult to use. This still has a touch capacitive that you can turn your cooled seats on and off, but it's easy, it's not complex. Plus the buttons down below are easy transmission controls. I know some people are not a fan of the dial. I don't mind it. You got your different drive modes, plus your different air suspension heights where you can go all the way down from lower entry all the way to off-road. Here's another really cool feature. Got a refrigerator or freezer actually in here. This is really cool. You can turn on and off. Definitely got the executive interior feel. It's got the suede all along the roof line. Nice soft touch dash. The Macintosh, I think that's how you say it, speaker system sounds great. The steering wheel layout controls, flat bottom. All the controls in the back of the steering wheel feel good. Also, the gauges reminds me very much of the Ram. Very, very similar. Heads-up display, you got adjustability. Power the Hurricane, man, this thing rips. It is really nice. Got a display you can turn on and off there. Nice little storage. You can hide some stuff here as well. These seats are really comfortable. Here's another thing too. Obviously it's soft touch all the way top and bottom. No other brand I'm aware of right now still has all the soft touch upper and lower. Another silly little thing is these steps come down a ton, and the way they tuck up in the body, it matches the body line. Looks really cool. Here's another thing that I think is nice that no one else I'm aware of does this on a full-size SUV, at least the domestics, is you still have your shades for kids in the second row. Really nice seating. This definitely is up there with the Navigator as far as seating. And then you've got your secondary console here with your controls. It's just awesome. Right now, we just need a bunch of space in the rear, but you can see, you can put your seating up both sides if you want. Good floor seating. Let me show you just kind of what it looks like as far as for an adult. Good headroom. I mean, no problem at all. And then check this out. Got a sunroof for the passengers back here as well. Got some seating controls to recline the rear Got some HVAC controls here, cup holder, USB A and C, but just look, this is even soft touch here as well. And these seats, man, are really nice. Let's see, does this have a, doesn't have a cup holder in the middle, which is okay, but these seats feel really nice and premium in the third row as well. And great leg room. Look at this, this is incredible. Now I've got my front row where I would sit, and you still got a solid, I'm gonna say 6 to 8 inches in front of me. These controls are, the seat position for the second row is just awesome. You still got the same USB A and C charging here with a little security, and you got a huge storage in the middle, cup holders, more USB A and C down below. Yeah, this is great. This is a really nice vehicle. The headrests on this thing are sweet too. Check out this. And this opens up here. I want to see what we got for storage in the back area. Got a bunch of good storage down below. And then we got really premium tie downs here, speakers in the rear. And I want to show you this here. This can go third row down. Tie this down as well. Yeah, huge. Nice flat floor, very premium, but also easy to use. We can put it back up as well. So one thing I read about people complaining about online is people saying the stitching coming loose in this area, not seeing it. And this is one with 40,000 miles on it. So keep this in mind. This has had a hard life and the interior seems to be holding up great. Also has the navigator lighting up above, which is really cool as well. Can shut this. So I've been impressed by the LED lighting, the interior instrumentation panel, the gauge cluster, how everything is set up, the gauges, very, very easy to use. I typically don't like digital gauge clusters because they can be cumbersome, but the data they put in this Jeep is easy to use and it works very well. This is not a watt pull, but I would just call it maybe half throttle. But as you can tell, the engine makes great power and the trans shifts perfectly. So fuel economy, that's probably the worst thing about this vehicle that I saw, but there's some huge caveats. Let me show you a few things. Number one, this is the trip, 7.9 miles per gallon. It seems horrible until you think about, we had literally only driven 50 miles, okay, with this vehicle, and it was all sitting in the city and idling for hours on end. So I don't think that's terrible once you do that. So, vehicle's in pretty good shape. The one thing I was gonna say, is being this thing was a rental car, this thing, all the wheels have been smoked. I mean, every single rim on this thing has just been tore up. Look at this thing. Okay, I'm sharing this because this tells you a lot about the life this thing has had. You can see stuff peeling off the rims. That's no fault to Jeep. This is just thing had a hard life, and the thing still drives and rides awesome. Another update I've seen with Apple CarPlay is now in the instrumentation panel, you do get some turn-by-turn directions, which is really cool. And then lastly, on the highway, I was seeing anywhere between 18 and 20 mile per gallon cruising down the highway. I didn't think that was too bad. Here's my takeaway. 42,000 miles of rental car abuse. Man, this thing's probably seen 100+ different owners beating the snot out of it. It had 3 of the 4 wheels completely destroyed. The finish on the rim was jacked up. 3 different tires on this vehicle. And yet I was trying to feel for vibration. Does the vehicle pull? How's the ride comfort? Is the suspension all blown out? Incredible. Honestly, incredible. The transmission, no surprise. 8 HP, 75. I didn't notice a shift flare, any shifting confusion, any weird downshifting. It was smooth. I was with some friends and colleagues from outside of the US. They've never been in a vehicle like this before, and they were impressed with not only the power of the high output Hurricane, but the smoothness. This thing felt just as smooth as my Ram RHO. Start up, shut down, start, stop, everything. On the topic of fuel economy, it was not good, 7 miles per gallon. With that being said, 100% city driving, not remotely looking for fuel economy. And we had this vehicle idling hours, literally probably 4+ hours of idle time because we're sitting, it's hot out, air conditioning, meetings, using the vehicle as basically a mobile office. So not surprised for the fuel economy. Interior fit and finish and how it's holding up. The Jeep Grand Wagoneer, ever since it came on, board. It's built off the Ram full-size truck platform. It's been a pretty impressive interior. I think the interior and the quality is on point with an Escalade. The seating reminds me very much of a Navigator, and in some ways I like it a little bit more. I'm glad that Jeep still offers a full massaging seat option in a premium luxury domestic OEM full-size SUV. The Cadillac does not anymore, and neither does the Navigator, and I think this is a downside for both those vehicles. The other thing I've found, and maybe it's just me with Jeep products and Ram Stellantis products, the ergonomics and their buttons and how things work inside, I think they're best in class. They have just the right amount of buttons that it makes the easy button, the easy functions easy, but not so advanced. You're just like, dude, I don't even know what to do in this vehicle to perform a simple function. This is an issue I see with the new Navigator. Exterior, exterior looks to me are always polarizing. It's okay looking outside. It just doesn't have that awesome look to me of maybe the Escalade or the Navigator. But as far as how the interior's holding up, the fit and finish, and how the powertrain performed, home run. This gives me so much more confidence on the Hurricane engine and Stellantis products. I know they're getting a bad rap on a lot of things, but the fact of a rental car with 40,000 miles of just tough abuse, this says a lot to me, and this gives me that much more confidence in the Ram RHO. This is something I like to do when I'm considering buying a new vehicle. I like to go drive one with a lot of miles on it and a lot of abuse, kind of give me a reference point of how it's holding up. I've been doing a lot of full-size SUV videos this year. If you watch the channel, I've done the GM full-size SUVs, the Ford, the Lincoln, the Escalades, the Armada, the Toyota, and the Lexus. And I can tell you right now, for me, hands down right now, of the interior and the powertrain, Grand Wagoneer is #1 in my book. I like the interior. I like what it offers, and I love the powertrain. This is something I've said in the past. If I want to go see what a vehicle feels and looks like with some miles on it, go get yourself a rental vehicle. It's seen a hard life, and it'll kind of give you a little bit of a reference point of how's the vehicle hold up. And this one impressed me. Hey guys, I hope you enjoy this video. I hope this gives you a little bit more confidence on the Hurricane engine, especially because this was one of the era engines that had quote unquote lots of issues. 23, 24 when it first launched in Wagoneer, Grand Wagoneer. I'm impressed. Thanks for watching.